one of the most important things to do when you're detoxing is to plan ahead, and that starts here in the supermarket. Because, as I said, one of the most important things with the detox is diet. And if you don't plan ahead, you're not going to be able to find the foods you need to take when you're ready to eat. So, one thing you're lucky, you don't have to walk around with an iPad in the supermarket videotaping yourself and looking like a crazy man. But luckily, my wife's here to support me. Ray, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
And that's another important thing about detox. If you have somebody who's going to do it with you, it's very good because you need a lot of support. My wife Ray's going to do this detox with me, which is great because if she was here shopping for cake and cookies and brownies, it'd make it a lot more difficult for me when I have to do this at home. But what we're primarily going to buy first is vegetables because that's going to be a major part of the diet. So take a look at all these yummy colors and vegetables. This is going to be a big part of our diet. And we're going to do most of our shopping here in the fresh food section and around the outside of the store where you find real food, not the processed stuff in the aisles. So we're going to get started. Okay, the detox I like to do has some specific diet recommendations for what we're going to eat, but the one you may choose to do may have a lot of different recommendations. But when I'm shopping for vegetables, I like a lot of greens and a lot of colors. And there's certain vegetables that are higher in sugar that I tend to eliminate, like carrots and beets. So I'm just going to go crazy here and buy a bunch of vegetables because, again, that's going to be the mainstay of it. So I'm going to grab a little fruit here. Fruit gets a bad rap. Everyone thinks that it's so high in sugar, and it is higher in sugar than most vegetables, but there's a lot of fruits that still carry a lot of good nutrition, and some have higher sugar levels than others, but it's still good for you. Apples and pears and most of the berries are good things to eat, so I'm going to grab some of those too because they're part of the detox diet that I've already planned. So I'm going to start grabbing some of that stuff too. Now, here's my wife grabbing some samples, but this is before we start our detox, so we're allowed to do that in the supermarket. But that'll all be over soon. All right, let's get back to shopping for the good stuff. So, for this detox, we're going to limit, obviously, our simple carbohydrates. At some point, we're even going to eliminate gluten from the diet. So you're going to have to familiarize yourself with some grains that may not be very common, like quinoa or kamut. I didn't know what these things are, but actually they're pretty easy to prepare. They're a lot, very similar to how you would prepare rice or some other grains. So we're going to look in the bulk grain section and buy some of these. Also, a good source of protein during the detox is going to be beans. And so you don't want to go just grab the canned beans because those are all processed and have preservatives. We're going to buy the dried beans and cook those. This is, again, something we don't commonly do, but it's not hard to do and for our detox. And actually, following the detox, that's how we're going to do it. So we're going to grab a few of these things here. Now, here's a section that we need to stay away from. This is all the baked goods and pastries. I'm just going to walk by to get one last look because the reason I'm doing this detox is I've been kind of a bad boy lately. So I'm going to just take one last look, but we're going to stay away from this and not eat this during our day detox. Okay, we have wandered into the seafood section, and normally fish is healthy for you, but you want to limit it because one of the concerns with a lot of seafood is that you get a high mercury level, which is a toxin, and we're trying to reduce our toxins. So the detox I like to do is going to limit the amount of seafood, and actually all flesh foods, red meat, poultry. Again, not that they're necessarily all very unhealthy for you, but we're trying to limit the impact on our gut and also limit the amount of toxins. So there will be no flesh foods, no seafood included in this detox diet. Okay, I told you we weren't going to wander into any of the aisles, but there are a few allowed condiments like Dijon mustard, balsamic vinegar, rice vinegar. You could also use a little sea salt, and natural sweeteners like agave and stevia are allowed. So you could grab those here. We have some of these at home already, so we're going to probably pass on this right now. But they are allowed. You can spice up your food a little bit. And then here, I want you to come over here. We have the dairy section. Now, the dairy products are allowed early in the diet, but one thing we're going to try to do with this detox diet is also eliminate foods that have a high potential to be cause allergies or sensitivities in people. And dairy is a very common food to which people are sensitive. So early on in the diet, you will be allowed to eat dairy, but then after a few days, you're going to eliminate it. So if you feel like you can't do without your dairy, you better load up in the first few days. We have enough dairy stuff at home already, so we're not going to pick up anything yet. Okay, we're done shopping, and we are on our way home, and we're pretty excited about all the great food we got, and now we have to figure out how to get pretty creative with it, so we don't feel like we're depriving ourselves. We're going to look at some recipes and use what's allowed on the diet and make some good food. You can see Luca in the background there. He's kind of sad. He's used to getting some nice red meat leftovers, and he's used to getting sometimes some pasta after we eat. But he's not going to be getting that anymore. So he's going to see if he has a taste for Brussels sprouts and things like that if it's left over. But he's not too psyched about it. He's usually looking for meat left over, so he's not too excited about the detox, but we're excited to get going, and so we will check in again when we start in a couple days. That's when we've planned to start.